Like I
Right.
always tell people, like sometimes, the reality is more than the actual
Well, that's why
story.
you have to take everything with a grain of salt. Even though I'm very into this, um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're true to it and they're not true to it. It's also a lot of it interpretation, people interpretation on it.
Yeah.
You
Like
know,
for instance, it's a conspiracy that celebrities eat babies, right? So when I tell you that, you're gonna think that it was some type of Dracula movie clip where the where the lady, the vampire lady, came out her casket and literally got a baby off the street, and you're thinking that it's going to be like that, but really they're like taking chromosomes or whatever, stem cells or whatever the case may be. So technically they're babies, but they're not babies. Like that
mm,
makes sense.
yeah.
So when you say it, you're thinking it's just a bloodbath. Like they're somewhere devouring a poor newborn. Like you see what I'm saying? So I think sometimes when
And
we come,
yeah, no, some of conspiracy theories like what we're having currently politically, a lot of them are made up. Or what happened is they take the truth, like a half truth of it.
mm-hmm,
Like for example, Hollywood bad, or
mm-hmm,
Hollywood had weirdness, but they're making conspiracy theory out of it. Why? That's something we known for a long time. The
mm-hmm.
good and bad of it, but now they make it like conspiracy theories. Like now they're QAnon, like and things like that. What happened is they take the half truth and make it like it's the truth.
Yeah,
And a lot of it is they project it. So they this celebrity that celebrity that truth is it's them. So what they're doing projecting to innocent people,
mm-hmm.
you know.
And you know who do that? It's a lot of whistleblowers in the industry that do that. So they may have been blackballed, right? Or they may have been, hard to work with. No one wants to work with them anymore. So they come out with conspiracies about these people. Some of it was rumors, gossip, third party and stuff, but they come out with it and they get celebrated for it. But in reality, I think half of them was doing the same thing the celebrity was doing.
That's what's happening. Like we're seeing. I don't want to mention name. I didn't tell Dazzle. She mentioned if we could do like celebrity stuff. I don't want to do that. Name, but
You don't have
I
to
could,
mention no
we could
name.
do this without naming name. But for
Mm-hmm.
example, like um, the Me Too movement. Like
Oh, yeah.
certain like da. What happened is they take somebody who maybe it's a little bit wild. So,
Mm-hmm.
but doesn't mean they do the worst case scenario. So what happened? They project it to that person because that person had a wild reputation. But just because you're wild doesn't mean you're bad. There's a
Mm-hmm.
difference between being wild and then being told X, Y, Z. So now, like Johnny Depp, right? That I don't mind talking about. Johnny Depp. A lot of the women were at first were for Amber because maybe they've been abused or and what
Girl, I
happened was
hate it when they
we
do that.
automatically and Johnny Depp had the drug history, right? He had, he's wild and all that, but there's a difference between being that and what he was accused of. So they take somebody who has a little bit of maybe a bad reputation. I'm talking about a lot of other celebrities, and they're like the candidate that they could point finger at. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we found out later on that, and there's some psychic, let me tell you, in my community who still defend Amber because either they believe into the conspiracy theory or they've been abused. So they can't see that not every woman is innocent, just like anybody, But there is a lot of like that pointing fingers. We're seeing like Christian people, which we both are, right? I'm metaphysical and I believe in, and
Mm-hmm.
they're praising, all this, but they're doing that themselves,
Mm-hmm.
pointing fingers. I could think of one politician right now, which I won't mention, but she's doing like kind of funny stuff, and the other side was like, we don't care if you do that. It's just you're being a hypocrite about it, and you're like suppressing people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Those are what we call they're acting as light, but they're disguised as dark.
Mm-hmm.
That a lot of that happening, and that's what conspiracy theory. Some of it true, like the alien stuff, probably true.
Yeah, that's
But if
true.
everything is true, probably not. You know, like I really can't believe that Pentagon, who just recently announced, oh, maybe there's something to this UFO. They call it UAP now.
Yes.
Um, like they suddenly knew that they know.
They been knew that. They wasn't making no movies about aliens for nothing. They been knew that.
I'm sorry,
No, but you know what's crazy? Like that's just like when I first met you, it was about like drifters, right? Like, and you might not know this, but in a lot of the community where I'm at, like we are really into whistleblowers and things like that, right? So we're into people like, first of all, we're really into crisis actors too. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll give you an example, like you said, I just leave it as, you know,
right.
white part. But when they try to tell like a celebrity, like I don't know, like you can say Bill Cosby, whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Everybody, he was on that to everybody, thousands. Like it felt like it was hundreds and hundreds of women for me for one. And I'm like, he did that back then, and you guys waited all the way up till now. And then I'm like,
where you have some truth and then some like people going on a train and
yeah, it's like a train, and like we're into that,
right?
And I'm like, and not everybody,
right?
Everybody,
yeah. No, I think that's why we get confused, because there is a lot of that.
Yeah, and then it's like, and then we have this thing too where so we believe the lie before we believe the truth.
Yeah.
So we're going to sit there and persecute you, and you know, cancel culture. They immediately like what they did to Johnny Depp. They took him off the Pirates of the Caribbean. He lost his job, and they didn't even know the truth. They just heard what happened, and they immediately said he was bad. And then it comes out, now you done lost. I mean, did he even get his money back from that? Did they have to pay him for that? Oh, that was just money lost, this period.
Well, we know that a lot of lawyers who will pick a certain public figure,
mm-hmm.
and they will do character assassination without any thought. Or people in the record business behind the scene will do character assassination toward like
just run it down.
Right.
And then we believe it.
Well, what about sometimes we don't believe it and then we find out it's true?
Yeah, that's another thing. That's some people too. That's some things too. Like I'll be honest with you, it's some things I said I didn't believe, and then I was like, you lying. Like I actually didn't believe certain stuff, and then just being in general, and
you know that's why it's very important in this time we have to learn how to develop our intuition, even if you don't believe in. Obviously, if you're watching this channel,
you believe in something.
Yeah, tarot cards, you know. But at this time, especially with artificial intelligence and all the misinformation, you got to work on your intuition. That's important, because don't go just by us. Your own. You have to develop it. Take time. Like I'm still learning after so many decades. You know, you learn. So this is important, and everybody has intuition. Not everybody may be psychic. It's like a piano player. You have a 5-year-old who just knows how to play piano. That's like a genius. Or maybe they came to this lifetime to play the piano. Some people are naturally psychic, very good, but then the majority could work at it. You could work on your intuition. You can
build it.
So everybody's that. Don't make it like you have to be special. And then actually, again, it's very important that you develop that, because we're not going to know what's real or not at this time frame, going forward. And is that the evolution anyway? We're getting more in tune.
Oh yeah, because a lot of stuff, girl. I'm gonna tell you. This is what I'm picking up. So apparently, it's a lot of stuff that we're going to be open to, and I'm gonna get to see in my lifetime. You might get to see it in your lifetime too. I feel like there's a reason why spirituality
definitely your kid's gonna see it. That for sure.
Yes, because they already have flying cars.
Yeah, probably, right?
No, they do. They
Oh yeah?
it's somebody that finally perfected the flying car thing. So basically, you can pre-order it right now because it's coming out.
Yeah, probably expensive. You know, the first
Yeah, it's
time is usually
expensive.
for the wealthy people or
Yeah,
somebody.
it's expensive,
Yeah.
but that's why they have a pre-order thing. So it's coming out. That's coming out. Um, Pretty much, we're gonna have to get used to aliens.
No, that's
We're
good.
gonna we're gonna be more open to psychic stuff, to basically spiritual stuff. It's not going to be a thing of maybe it's not real anymore. Eventually, it's going to be that.
Even if you don't believe into the woo-woo, think about astrologically we're heading into the Aquarian age. So the Aquarian age is more open to, and it's that evolution. Look at the evolution.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about evolution. If you don't even
And
believe
it's not like spirituality or mysticism was never like woved into our like beings, or was it could be alongside with science in a way, because
most of the time it is.
because in Egypt they did that.
Right. And look at Star Trek. If you look at Star Trek from the 60s, they had a tablet, which is
Mm-hmm.
like our iPad or
Mm-hmm.
like our laptop. And they
But
also
they've
had a
been thinking
phone.
of these things.
Yeah, they had a phone. So if you watch a lot of sci-fi, likely that not everything, but a lot what we see in sci-fi movie, you can kind of
Mhm.
predict what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, look at the Simpsons. The Simpsons predicted everything.
Yeah, I wonder about that. It's like if that. I wonder if it's the writer intuitive or something bigger than them go through them. Because a lot of these like inventors or people who write books or create movies, sometimes I feel like it's something higher than them that write for what's happening in the future. It's one or the other.
Like Lord of the Rings, we actually had hobbits. There was a species of humanoid beings. It was different types of humans back then. You had your Neanderthals, your whatever the
Yeah,
case may be.
I don't know. I mean, there's no
So,
proof that Atlantean, like you said.
no. I'm talking about the skulls and stuff that they've been finding of different different types of species of humans. They literally found a species of humans that was short like hobbits. So there is truth to a lot of things.
I'm gonna say like where this idea of story comes from. Sometimes it's just plain imagination, but sometimes if the planet's really old, it's likely that there have been other society that came and went.
Yeah, like for instance, like my grandma, she
I'm gonna
loved to
Google
say
on that
this.
by the way on that the gobble thing. The
The Hobbit.
yeah, the
Oh,
goblin. This goblin too and fairies.
yeah. Well, I believe in all that. Like my grandma always, like to reiterate about the Bible, and she talks about Adam and Eve. If God only made Adam and Eve, how the hell did Cain leave and get a wife? Where did he get a wife from? So obviously it was other people. So you see what I'm saying? So there were other people here. So, you know.
And this is where we go crazy. It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
who would the chicken or the egg kind of thing. Like I used to grow up going, God, what was there before you? How did you get there? So you can't like, and then you hear about the theory with the Big Bang. It just became. Well, how did the Big Bang just became? Like what was before that?
And to be honest, I do believe in the Big Bang to a degree, but I do believe in celestial beings. So technically, if I'm thinking that a celestial being is going to form galaxies, right? Because I think celestials form different galaxies because there's too many galaxies around here. So you never know what's going on in the galaxy all the way over there. They're probably way more smarter than us all the way over there, to be honest. But in this particular galaxy, I do feel like, there was a celestial being, God, and it could be his angels, whatever. They formed this galaxy, and the way they did it was that you had to have asteroids collide over time. You got to build it. So then you have to make it so that there's a big enough star to sustain this planet. So I kind of believe that it goes hand in hand. Something like Thor, right, in Asgard. In Asgard, science and magic go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You see? So
this is where like sometimes I had to let it go because I would be younger and thinking about all this, and it's just like, but what would before the celestial being and the angel? What would before that? So this way I have to let it go. I had to let it go. Just
it
it's
was
called the
something.
mysterious God for a reason, you know. So
Oh wow! Have you ever? And before I even get to the next, because we can talk about something else. Have you ever read The Journey of Souls?
no.
Girl, you need to read it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to type it in, girl. And you got to get this book. Because I remember when I first started this channel and stuff, I thought I wanted to do like this little book club reading or whatever. But that's even here there. But The Journey of Souls, Lives Between Lives, it was this doctor. Because you know you have a spiritual place, and you have a place in California that specializes in hypnosis and spirituality and stuff like that, right? So this renowned doctor actually wrote a book because he was doing like hypnotherapy on certain people, right? But he put them into a deep state, and they started talking about their lives before this life and how certain things was affecting them in this life that happened in the previous life. Like this person came in and she kept saying that her throat was always hurting. Come to find out, in her previous life, you know, she was on a train and it got like ambushed by Indians, and there was a bow and arrow. An arrow went through her throat. So that's what happened in her past life. So in this life, her throat keeps hurting. So you got to get this book.
No, I think I know you're talking about where it may not be him, but might be somebody else. That sometime when they do these sessions where they go, they regress them, they will come and talk different languages. Like how do they know the languages when they're under? And also they will have no more health issue after the regression.
Yeah, it's this one right here.
Oh no, I'm thinking of a different doctor, but that's amazing.
You need to get this book.
Mind to that. Yeah.
I love this book. I read it in like junior high school.
That's kind of dumb. Not dumb. We just are not aware of it. When we talk about, we fight over being male or female. Likely we've been another gender. We fight about race. It's more likely you've been a different race or a different culture. Maybe not even on the planet. You might have had some lives on Earth. Some lives.
You could have had a life over there.
Versus nobody's. You know, we try and make it a special thing, like, oh, I've been a star seed and all that. Most likely you might have been a crystal in another dimension.
But you know what's crazy though? Within that book, later in the book, when you get deep into the book, he was talking about how a lot of evolved, like, you know, higher up souls, like spirit guides and stuff, and you can call them angels and stuff like that. They was on different planets creating different stuff.
Wow.
That's why I was saying that, you know, these people, you know, I think that it's a little bit of truth into the Big Bang Theory, and I think it's a little bit of truth in the biblical sense. It's a little bit of truth everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But it may not be the truth.
Right? Yeah, you gotta put it all together. You gotta use your discernment and your intuition.
I'm wondering if what was that first portal area where we kept going like with something else? It is something like
it was in Alaska.
Is that what it is? Like, I'm curious if that had to do with it being maybe not a portal.